Okay, well, welcome to the GotMyCerts demo. Today we're going to first of all show you the marketing page. So if you just go to GotMyCerts.com, you can see the marketing website. We've got a registration and a login. These are two sections that I want to just show you really quickly. So on the registration, it just takes a moment to fill out the registration information, but the key point here is I want to show you the user type. So a standard user would be somebody who is either a requester or a submitter of insurance certificates or coverage verification. An insurance agent would be an insurance agent who is uploading documents or who is acting as a super broker, which I'll show you in a moment. And then an insurance carrier representative, auditor, underwriter, loss prevention, that's an employee or somebody who works for an actual insurance company. Then in addition to the registration, we'll go to the login page, which is where one would just log in after they've registered. So I'm going to log in as a web admin really quickly and show you what that looks like for the typical user. So let me get in as a requester, and as a requester I'm going to show you what the system appears like to the requester so that they can send an actual coverage verification request. So here's the dashboard. Our requester is B1 Construction. A couple of things I want to show you at first is under the Settings tab. You can go in and add different users. You can create different roles for different users at your organization. And there's different types of roles that you can create, different permissions that you can give, different users that you can add. I'm just going to show you a couple of here. One is the company admin who has full access, a typical company user, and then you can define the role for that user. A super broker, this is the insurance agent for the requester that if they have a super broker subscription to the GotMyCerts system can actually get into the system and look at all of their clients' information who are using GotMyCerts and help them through the process. An auditor, underwriter, level access, which I'll show you that in a moment, but that is a place where you can add a user who has access to your certificates, your endorsements, your signed subcontract agreements, and your audit documents, which you can upload insurance audit documents like your payroll information, subcontracted cost information. You can add a document and then you can grant access to your insurance company so that they can review that audit document to simplify the audit process. We'll come to the subscription later. I'll show you that in a minute. Under the vendors, this is where you would add your subcontractors, anyone you're sending a request to for coverage verification. You can do that two different ways, either creating a vendor by adding their basic information in the system, or you can do a CSV template where you fill in the Excel spreadsheet and then upload it as a CSV file, and then it will populate all of your vendors. The monitoring, I'll just point this out in here. This is where you manage the monitoring process. The monitoring is a feature that after the insurance agent of the submitter uploads a certificate and other related documents, you can actually monitor that coverage in the event that it, or to detect if the coverage cancels for non-payment of premium mid-term. And so that it will send an email out to the insurance agent of the submitter depending on the frequency that you select. So you may select that go out quarterly, monthly, semi-annually, and then the insurance agent will get an email asking if coverage is still active, yes or no, which they then can respond in the body of the email, and it of course documents everything. If they say no, it will send a flag email out to the requester and the submitter saying that there's a problem. Alright, so let's get into the actual coverage management tab over here on the left. And on the coverage management tab, two things I want to show you. Three things really. One is all the jobs that are out there that this particular requester has sent out. There's different statuses of those jobs. This is the job that is sent out to where it's in the submitter review status, where the submitter has not added their insurance agent. This job shows that the insurance agent has been added and it's at the agent review status. And when the agent uploads documents, it comes back to the requester, so it shows the requester approval status, and then that allows the requester, or B1 Construction in this case, to go in and review it and approve it or send it back if there's a problem. Now, one thing I want to point out is two things in here is you can view the job, edit the job, reassign the job to somebody else in your organization as a requester, If you want them to manage that job and you no longer want to be the one to manage that job, you can set it up to change who that is, or you can also send out a reinvite email. Now the system automatically sends 3 emails 5 days apart. So if you send out a submission, a request for coverage verification, the submitter, in this case it's B6 Construction, would get 3 emails 5 days apart. Those emails, which I'll show you one in a minute, prompt them to add their insurance agent. If they have not added their insurance agent, it stays in the submitter review agent assignment status. If you call them up and say, hey look, I really need you to add your agent so they can do the upload of the right documentation, you can hit reinvite. It will send that invitation out immediately so it's at the top of their email list, and then they can respond. The second one, for example, is at the agent review. So it's in the agent review. If you hit the reinvite button here, it will send out the email that goes to the agent from the submitter saying, hey, please do the upload. So this will make more sense as we create a job and send it out. So number 2, I want to show you a coverage template. So we're going to create a coverage template, and I've already created one in here, so we'll use that one. But the way you can create a different coverage template is you can go in here, hit coverage template, you would give it a name, and you know, residential whatever coverage. I'm not going to go ahead and actually save this one because I've already got one. Well, we'll go ahead and do this one. We'll call it name residential coverage. Alright, so we can indicate what line of coverage we're asking for. So in this case we're just going to do general liability, workers' comp, and auto. We won't do the umbrella. So under the general liability, it defaults to $1 million, $2 million limit, that the coverage aggregate be on a per project basis. So there's certain things that it defaults to as a best practice. It defaults to requiring ongoing operations, additional insured, and completed operations, additional insured, primary non-contributory, waiver of subrogation, endorsements. And so those are in the system as defaults. If you want to change them, you can just change them in here. It goes to the AM Best requirements of the insurance company, where if the requester requires a certain status of insurance carrier, they can require that in here. And over here on the right-hand side are items that you want to prohibit your subcontractor or submitter to have as exclusions in their policy. So residential, say it's a multifamily townhome project, there's other ones in here, and if you have questions you can hover over these and they can kind of tell you what these are. You may want, so for example, contractual liability limitation, you want to prevent third-party action over lawsuits. This is an area where your insurance agent can assist you in determining what limits of coverage, what types of coverage, and what are prohibited exclusions that you want to prohibit of your subcontractors or submitters. There are some trade-specific ones in here. So for example, we'll say that this is an excavator, and we'll title this one Residential Coverage Excavation, so that it's really clear that this is for an excavator. And then you can add provisions if they're not listed on the trade specific. So that's the basic gist of the coverage templates. Now let's go into the different lines. We've got workers' comp. You can indicate the limit of coverage. A waiver of subrogation does not default on the workers' comp because in some states they're not legal, but we'll go ahead and request that. The auto, same thing, limits, endorsements. So those are all ready to go. So if I hit that and save that under my templates, I'll now have a coverage template called Name Residential Coverage Excavation. Okay, now we go to coverage requests, and this is where we're going to actually assign the template to a subcontractor or a submitter. So you hit Create New Job Requirement Request. Now in here you can call this ongoing work or all work performed if it's just going to be rotating year after year after year. But if you have a specific job, so we'll call this the Smith home, and you can add the project location. Actually, this is probably going to be a commercial. Well, no, we'll just call this the Smith home. That's fine. And we'll indicate what are the coverage dates that we want the subcontractors to have effective dates, or the coverage has to at least cover over this date. We can go in and add multiple vendors if we want to just send it out to a specific vendor. Let's say this happens to be our excavator. So we'll just grab our excavator. We can create a vendor on the fly if we don't find them on the list, and then we can save them, and it saves it to our permanent list of vendors. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. It pulls that vendor through. Here's where you can indicate certain requirements on the certificate. I'm just going to copy and paste some sample language that's in the system, but this is the you'll want to make sure that this matches up to your contract or whatever it is that you require. Now we're going to match up this submitter, B2 submitter, to the coverage template. So I'm going to go grab that template, which we called that template name residential coverage exclusion or excavation. So you'll notice it pulls through the exact coverage that we requested, the limits, the type of coverage, and the prohibited exclusion. I'm ready to go now. So I can preview the message if I want to see what's actually going to go out to my subcontractor. You can see this is the actual message. It's for the Smith home. So I can close that out. I hit submit. I'm prompted to pay. Oh, one thing I forgot to tell you. Over here I can require the vendor to pay the cost, which for them it would be $10 unless they give 3 referrals in the system, taking it down to $5. Or I can just pay the cost directly for my vendor if I have my Premier GotMyCerts subscription, which is as low as $249 a year. So I hit that yes, and it will pay for my vendor cost for this request, and I hit submit. Now what's going to happen next is that it's going to say that this has gone out, and I'll show you in the system the job as soon as it pops up here. There we go. So that job, now an email just was generated and was sent out to the submitter. But you can see the job, the Smith home. It's at the submitter review agent assignment status. These are all the functions I can do. But so you can follow the job all the way through the process here in this dashboard. So that's what that's intended to do. Now, so we're going to go through and see if the email has actually come through. So let me go into my generic email. Let me close this out first of all. Okay, it doesn't look like it's come through yet. I'll hit send and receive again. And now I'm going to go ahead and log out, because when I'm jumping from user to user, the system will throw an error if I'm already logged in as a different user, because it's taking that login information. So okay, there's our request. So the request came through. This was to Beta 2, who's the submitter. Please read this email carefully. Beta 1 requires your insurance agent to upload proof of coverage. It allows them to do, by the way, they can see, who you are, your contact information. They can have our contact information if they have concerns or questions. It shows through the name of the job that this is being requested of. They can do one of 3 things. They can either log into their account to look at this request, if they already have an account, using the email address that they were invited into. They can register for an account, a free account, so that they can see the job request using the email that was used to send this to them. Or they can just click here on this link. This will take them to a landing page which will enable them to add their insurance agent into the system and let them send the request out to their insurance agent. Now they can go in here and make changes in here if something's not right, update their phone number or what have you, or they can simply, if everything looks good here, they can add their insurance agent. Now in this case they have the ability to update or add a workers' comp waiver if they don't have workers' comp coverage, but they're just providing a waiver that they've waived off of workers' comp because they don't have any employees. Or if they do have workers' comp, they can do one of 2 things. They can either add their insurance agent. Now this particular party's already added an insurance agent, so it's stored in the system based upon their email address. They can add an agent if it's the same agent for all lines of coverage. If it is not, if they have to add an agent, they just click here to add the basic email, first name, company name, and last name and phone number of their agent by line of coverage. Or if it's a different agent, we'll say the workers' comp in this case is with B10 insurance and the other 2 lines are with B3 insurance. They can preview the messages if they really want to, and they can see what actually goes out to their insurance agents and by line of coverage. And this is the actual email that the agent will get. You can see it's for the Smith home job. So they're done. They can do this on their smartphone. It's really simple and only takes a few moments. So now I'm going to just close these out, and there should be an email coming through to the insurance agent, and you're going to see that the email to the insurance agent is very similar to the email that the submitter received, indicating that they can either create an account if they don't already have an account, they can log in if they do have an account, or they can just click on a link that takes them to a landing page that enables them to see the coverage requirements. And this is nice for an insurance agent because they can actually see all of the requirements right up front. So there's not a lot of back and forth and time wasted because the submitter fails to tell the insurance agent what the requirements are. And you'll see 2 jobs came through. One came through to Beta 3 and one came through to Beta 10. Beta 3 was the insurance agent for the general liability and the auto, and Beta 10 was for the workers' comp. So we'll click on this one and expand it. It's for the Smith Home job. As I mentioned, they can do one of 3 things: log in using the email address that they were invited into and they'd create an account on, register, same thing, or click here. They can see the contact information for the requester, so if they've got a question they can call them, and also their client, the submitter. So let's go ahead and click here on just the landing page. It's going to take them to a landing page where they can see all the requirements. They can see the name of the job, the coverage effective dates that the coverage needs to be in effect for, who the requester is, who the submitter is. Now, obviously the dates aren't going to match up identically to what the coverage is that they have, so it just needs to make sure that they have coverage over that time frame. They can see the address of the requester by expanding that. They can see what the requester wants to be listed on the certificate, and they can see the different lines of coverage. Now in this case you notice it only pulled through 2 because we assigned this to the work comp over to a different agent. So the general liability, and now if they don't provide that coverage, they can indicate they don't provide that line of coverage if the submitter accidentally made a mistake, and it would send it back to the submitter, allowing them to update who their insurance agent is. So if they go in and indicate the effective dates of coverage, we'll say that's after the date of coverage. It's going to red flag the insurance agent. We'll say no, this meets the requirements. They can see all the coverage requirements that we indicated. They can upload the certificate of insurance that they prepare. I'm just going to go grab one and upload that. It's going to pull through into the system here. They're going to indicate the carrier information. Let's say it meets the requirements from an AM Best standpoint, but it's a non-admitted carrier, so it's going to flag it. They can see what endorsements are being asked to upload, so they can go in and issue those endorsements and upload them into the system. This is for the 2010 AI, so we'll go grab that one. And then the completed operations additional insured endorsement, so they can go grab that one and upload it. And then they're asking for a primary non-contributory endorsement, so they can go and grab that one and upload it. Now, they can also see that they're asked to upload any exclusions. So in here, if the exclusions exist in the policy, then the agent is request to upload that information. So let's say there is a residential exclusion. They can go and grab that out of the policy and upload it so that it prompts the requester saying that there might be a problem. Let's say there's also a subsidence exclusion. They can go grab the subsidence exclusion. They can upload that. Whoops, that's the wrong one, so redo that. No, that's the wrong one. Where's my subsidence exclusion? There we go. And then they can upload that exclusion. So now it shows the exclusions. The next thing is they click on the auto, they see the coverage requirements, they indicate the dates of coverage, they upload the certificate. Now in a future release we'll make it so the insurance agent doesn't have to upload the certificate multiple times. They can just click on a button saying that it's the same certificate for all lines of coverage. Here's the additional insured endorsement for I'm just going to grab one of the ones for the additional insured for the general liability, but you can view it as the requester and make sure that they've uploaded the correct endorsement. And then a waiver of subrogation. Alright, so now the insurance agent is done and it's all in the system. They hit submit and they are done. Now let's go back to the other email. So Beta 10, they received an email that's on the workers' comp for that job, Smith Home. So same thing, they can click on the link, takes them to a landing page, they can see all the information. That's just for the workers' comp. They indicate the dates of coverage, they upload the certificate, and then they can indicate if the carrier meets the requirements or not. If it doesn't, it throws up a red flag, and then they can upload the endorsement, waiver of subrogation in this case. Okay, then the agent is done. I hit submit, and the second agent has completed the job. Now, email should be coming through to, yep, there we go. Now, before I log in as the requester, I just want to show you, well, actually, no, we'll log in as a requester because we can see now that that job has come through. It's telling us on the Smith home, that it's all has been uploaded. Until all 3 lines have been uploaded, it won't send this email. So I'm going to go ahead and log in as the upper tier, the requester. I'm getting in as a web admin just to get it to it easily here. And in here I'll be able to see that that coverage is, or that job has been uploaded and is prominently displayed on my dashboard as beta 1. And if I can type, then you'll be able to see that beta 1 can see the coverage, and we'll be able to determine if it meets the requirements. So it prominently shows up right on their dashboard. They can click on the job. Oh, there's a problem with the liability. By the way, it shows who the insurance agent and their contact information right here, so they can reach out by phone or email and contact that party and call them and let them know what's going on. Let's say the workers' comp, everything looks good. I can go in and see the certificate. I go in and I can view the endorsement. If I think everything looks good there, then I can go ahead and approve these 2 lines of coverage that are okay, but this one has a flag. So if I want to look at the certificate, I can match it up against the coverage requirements over here. I can see it's a non-admitted carrier, and whoa, there's some exclusions here. So I can go in and actually view the actual exclusion to see if it pertains to the scope of work that that party is doing on my behalf. And this is where, again, an insurance agent can help, the requester can assist them, especially if they're acting as a super broker. We highly encourage insurance agents to purchase the super broker subscription so that they can assist their clients better. They can look at the subsidence exclusion, see if there's a problem there. Yep, that's a problem, so this is an excavator. So now they can go in and add a comment down here, and they can send this back to the they would be able to send this back to the insurance agent of the submitter and can indicate if the coverage is a problem or not. So, or they can just go ahead and send it back. Well, actually, they have to select return to agent first, and then they can go and grab the agent's information here and say, please correct the coverage to back out the 2 exclusions. Thanks. They add that comment, pulls it through. They then can hit, so return to agent, approve, approve. They hit submit. Now it's going to take that job and it's going to put it back into the agent status review, and you'll see that in the dashboard of the requester right here on the Smith home. It's in the agent review status. And so the insurance agent will now be receiving an email prompting them to log into the system and that there's a problem. Now in the email we'll tell them what the problem is, what those notes say, and so that it's clearly identified to them what the issue at hand is. Now this takes a moment for the email to come through. I'll go ahead and log in while we're waiting for that. Oops, I'm going to log in as test MCCT plus beta3.com. Okay, so beta3 is the insurance agent, and again that email just came through. So first of all, an email came through saying the job went to the submitter saying that there was a problem and went back to agent review status. and then this one is to the actual insurance agent, letting them know what the problem is and the line of coverage, and there's that message that I typed in there as the requester. So I've logged in as the insurance agent. There's the job for Smith Home. This guy's got a lot of problem jobs. There's the job for the Smith Home. You'll see that it pulls through just the problem coverage because the other line of coverage was approved, and it's clearly marked, and he can actually go down and see that message that was sent down here. So let's say that agent rewrites the policy. If it's still admitted, that's fine. It can still be, or non-admitted, it can still be non-admitted, but let's say they get rid of the exclusions by rewriting the coverage with another carrier. They can go in and eliminate those exclusions, and then we're ready to push that back out to the submitter. Now it should meet all the coverage requirements, and the back and forth, there's no charge for that, but you can see now this job is the requester approval from the insurance agent's standpoint. I'll go ahead and log out and log back in as the requester, and the requester now can see the job. And by the way, the requester would have gotten an email. Has not come through just yet, but it will come through momentarily, prompting them saying that the job is actually completed at this point, similar to the one that we received before. And there's the job, shows up bright and shiny on our dashboard. They can click on the job and they can indicate or determine, still shows coverage requirements weren't met, but not from an exclusion standpoint because it may be a non-admitted insurance company. Well, let's say they're willing to accept that non-admitted status because let's say it's a tougher risk like a roofing company or an excavator. So they go ahead and they approve that job, that line of coverage. Now all lines are approved. They hit submit. It's going to now log the job, set it up for the renewal process. It's an approved job, the Smith Home, approved, and it's just waiting for the renewal. So when the coverages are about ready to expire, it will prompt the requester with an email. Do you want to renew or get renewal verification? If they hit no, it just archives the job. If they hit yes, it will clone the job and send out the request back to the submitter, the subcontractor in this case, because we don't know if they have changed their insurance agents or not. And then the process just starts all over again. They add their agent or update their agent or click on their agent, and then the agent is prompted to upload the renewal. And then the renewal information is stored in the system. It accordions out the job so that you can see year by year in the system. So that is the basic process for GotMyCerts. I want to show you a couple other neat features. One is I showed you being able to add the different users, and I'm going to go ahead and log in. I want to see who the super broker is in this case under my user management, so I can go log in as a super broker here. So the super broker is beta 4, and so I'm going to log in as beta 4, and so beta 4 can see, I'll show you how the super broker can see, and this is the insurance agent for the requester, not the submitter. So if they have a super broker subscription, they have access, and it's indicated by the super broker logo. They've been granted access to their clients, beta 1. They can click on this and see all of beta 1's. So they're now that insurance agent, beta 4, is logged in as a user under beta 1's account. So they can go in and they can look at a coverage request or look at an exclusion for one of their clients, or just check things out if there's a problem. They have access to all of that information. They can even send requests if their client wants them to, and provide kind of a concierge service for their client. So that you can see I'm in beta 1 construction's account, but I'm logged in as the super broker. Now I go back to my client list, which will take the super broker back to all of his clients who have granted him access as a super broker. So that is the super broker feature and subscription. I'm going to go ahead and log out, and I'm going to sign in as the insurance company for the requester because the insurance company was granted access. and the insurance company wants to do their audit. They want to look at the certificates, or they want to look at signed subcontract agreements, which I have not shown you yet. So an insurance company can log in if they've been granted access by B1 Construction. It shows up prominently on their list of companies that they've been granted access for, and they can go and run reports and look at all the certificates and all the coverage verifications for different vendors that that requester has. So I'm just going to go look at the one that we just did. Let's see, where was that? That was, oh, these are the subcontract agreements. Okay, it was the Smith home. So I actually can get in there. Now we're building a more robust reporting feature, but this takes them right into that job. They were only granted access for the general liability, so they can go and they can look at the certificates, they can look at the endorsements, they can look at the exclusions. It's all contained in this system. Then, one thing I haven't shown you is the ability for the insurance company to see signed subcontract agreements in the GotMyContracts feature of the system. So as an insurance company, they can review the subcontract agreements if they're granted access, which Beta 1 did grant access to those subcontract agreements. So I'm going to show you a subcontract agreement. Hopefully this is a full agreement that I've got in here. Let's see. That has been electronically sent through the system and has been electronically signed by both the requester and the submitter. And so both parties have signed this document, and it's captured their information, their email address, IP address, date and time, and same for this. And so now the insurance company has access to see all the signed subcontract agreements to make sure that risk transfer is occurring properly. So that's a feature of the system, and there's no cost to the insurance company, of course. Now I'm going to log back in as the requester. Well, I'll log in as the as the requester, and you can see how to do a send out a request in GotMyContracts. So GotMyContracts is here. You can go in, and after you get your subscription, which is very inexpensive, you can go in and send out a coverage request by creating a new document. Oh, looks like this subscription has expired, so let me just log in as the web admin so that you can actually see the process on this. So in here it's super easy to send out a document for electronic signature. I'll just log in as that Beta 1 user again as a web admin so I can demo sending out a subcontract agreement. So when I'm in the system as Beta 1, I click on GotMyContracts. I go in and I can create a document, and I won't actually send one, but here's where you add the vendor, where you'd send it to. You title the document. You can copy and paste the document in here. So I'll just say this is the document, and then you can assign where you want the submitter to sign their name. You can assign where you want the requester to sign their name, and hit submit. An email message would then go out to the submitter, prompting them to log into the GotMyCerts system and electronically sign the document. So it's really simple when they do that. I'll just go ahead and show you that very quickly, just so that you see that in the system, and we'll call this the test contract. Assign it the category, and then we'll go ahead and hit submit. So now that job is going out to an email will have been prompted going out to the submitter. And these two emails, by the way, this was the email where the Beta 1 was prompted to go in and log in and approve that job, which we already did. We were just waiting for that email to come through. And this is the email that goes out to Beta 2, the submitter, letting them know that they've approved that job and no further action is required at this time. Just some communication. So here's the email that went out to Beta 2, prompting them to go log in and sign the document. So I'm going to go ahead and just do that. I'll log in as beta 2 and go in and sign the document that was just submitted, and you'll see how simple this is. So beta 2, I'm just going in as a web admin, but here's what beta 2's dashboard looks like. It shows up bright and shiny as a job to sign a document. They can click in there, it shows the document. I just made one up very easily. And then if I hit submit, it'll prompt me to sign it. I have to sign it, and I have to answer 2 of my 3 security questions that I created when I created my account. So it authenticates my signature, and then it's going to send an email message now that that is done, and it shows that that job is at the document request approval status. Now there's going to be an email message coming through to the requester letting them know that that document is ready for them to sign. I'm going to go ahead and just log in as a requester waiting for that email. So beta 1, we'll get back into the account and find beta 1, and we'll see that that job will prominently display on their landing page right here. There we go. And they can click on that job. They are then prompted to, they can see that the submitter has actually signed it, and they are prompted to sign the contract as well. And then once they sign the contract and authenticate their signature, then the system stores and saves the contract in the system, and that's part of the value of the system, is it saves it indefinitely, and also you can invite in as the requester your insurance company so that they can see that system. So one other thing I wanted to show you before we wrap up is the subscription process so that you can see how that works. So I'll just log in as a user that hopefully does not already have an account. So we'll just use this one here, beta 21. So beta 21 has an account, but they may hopefully don't have a registered account, a subscription. So to get a subscription, if they want to be a requester, the cost of the annual subscription is $4.99. They can add that to their cart, but if they want to save 50% and a lifetime, they can input 3 referrals. Those referrals get 1 email prompting them to learn about the GotMyCerts system, and they can then and they can preview the message. So I'll just show you what the message says. It just goes out to the referral saying, hey, you should check out this system that beta 21 just signed up for. They get 1 email, they don't get spammed, and by sending that you can get a 50% lifetime discount and taking it down to $249. The GotMyContracts is $49 a year for that subscription, and then the vendor monitoring is $19.99 a year plus 20 cents per vendor per month that you're monitoring. And so that is the subscription process. So appreciate you taking the time to review our system. If you have any questions, certainly give us a call. Thank you.